You may think cats are hard to understand because so many of their habits look pointless at first. But with cats, the habits that seem smallest are often the ones carrying the clearest message. Very often, what looks funny, inconvenient, or random is really about comfort, control, or trust. And once you notice that pattern, your cat starts to feel less mysterious and much more honest. This time, the meaning hides inside 10 other habits people often laugh at or overlook. The first habit is scratching the floor around the food bowl, even after the meal is already gone. Many people think the cat is just being dramatic, but it is often older than that. At the instinct level, this movement can come from the urge to bury, cover, or manage scent. It is a small ritual that gives the cat a sense of order after eating. Yet if they do it only in certain places or with certain bowls, that detail matters. Sometimes the habit is about leftovers. Sometimes it is about control over the space itself. And that is why a few empty paw scratches can still say your cat wants the world to feel arranged. The second habit is stealing your seat the moment you stand up, especially while it is still warm. It looks rude, almost strategic, but cats rarely choose comfort without meaning. Your chair carries heat, shape, and the strongest trace of where you were just sitting. So when your cat takes that spot, they may be choosing both warmth and closeness at once. It is not always about replacing you. Sometimes it is about settling into your recent presence. If they relax immediately instead of scanning the room, the comfort behind the choice is even clearer. Well, sometimes a cat stays close to you by slipping into the exact place where you just were. The third habit is sleeping in the sink, even when softer places are all around the house. People laugh because it seems uncomfortable, but cats do not always define comfort the way we do. A sink is cool, curved, enclosed, and predictably shaped every single time. For some cats, that makes it feel safer and more regulating than a large open bed. If the room is warm, the cool surface may matter even more. If the sink becomes a repeated favorite, the shape may be comforting in a deeper way. Sometimes a cat chooses peace, not where life feels softest, but where it feels most contained. The fourth habit is pushing pens, bottles, or tiny objects off the edge of a table. At first, it feels like mischief with perfect timing. But many cats are not trying to destroy things, as much as they are testing movement, response, and cause. A small object near an edge becomes a question they can answer with one paw. Will it slide, fall, sound different, or make the room react? If they do it more when they want engagement, the habit can also become social. Sometimes what looks like bad behavior is really curiosity turning the whole room into an experiment. The fifth habit is refusing the bowl and insisting on drinking from a running faucet instead. Many people call this pure fussiness, but for cats, water is not just water. Moving water can seem fresher, easier to read, and more appealing than still water in a bowl. The sound, motion, and surface clarity may all help the cat feel more certain. And that is why some cats will wait for the tap, even when water is already available nearby. If bowl placement or whisker contact is bothering them, the preference can become even stronger. Sometimes the faucet is not a luxury. It is simply the version of water that feels safest to trust. The sixth habit is staring at a wall, a ceiling corner, or an apparently empty space for a very long time. This can unsettle people fast, because it feels like the cat is seeing something invisible. But a cat notices tiny movement, faint sound, and shifting light far earlier than we do. What looks empty to you may still be full of information to them. A bug behind paint, a sound in the wall, or dust moving through light may be enough. The important detail is whether the body stays calm, curious, or suddenly tense. Sometimes the strange stare is not about mystery at all, but about senses working harder than ours. The seventh habit is scratching the sofa or chair more intensely right after looking at you. People often read that as pure defiance, but the meaning is usually more layered. Scratching is not only about claws, it is also about tension release, marking, and body reset. If your cat looks at you first, they may be checking whether the shared space feels active or noticed. The act can become a signal as much as a habit. Sometimes they want movement. Sometimes they want attention. Sometimes they just need to discharge energy. And that is why the eye contact before the scratch can matter as much as the scratching itself. The eighth habit is waiting outside the bathroom door or sitting on the bath mat while you shower. But many people joke that cats suddenly become emotional bodyguards in that room. But bathrooms are full of predictable sounds, closed boundaries, and one important missing detail: access to you. When the door closes, your cat may feel the separation more clearly than in an open room. Waiting outside can be their way of holding the connection in place until you return. If they stay calm instead of distressed, the habit often feels more bonded than anxious. Sometimes the cat is not guarding the bathroom. They are guarding the thread between you and them. The ninth habit is sitting on a fresh sheet of paper or a piece of cardboard the moment you put it down. It feels absurdly specific, and that is exactly why people remember it. But new flat surfaces are warm with novelty, easy to clean, and sharply defined in a busy room. For a cat, but the clean rectangle can feel like an instant territory marker. If the paper arrives near where you are working, it becomes even more interesting. It is a new object, a new boundary, and a new chance to place themselves at the center of it. Sometimes your cat does not love paper itself. They love what a new surface lets them become in the room. The 10th habit is chewing plastic, licking bags, or fussing over crinkly packaging for no obvious reason. People often laugh at it first, but this is one habit worth watching more closely. Some cats are drawn to the texture, the sound, or residue left on the material. But repeated chewing can also become a way to self-stimulate when the body wants more input. That does not always mean something is wrong, but it should never be ignored completely either. If it becomes frequent, intense, or hard to interrupt, The pattern matters more than the plastic itself. Because with cats, even a strange little habit can turn into a quiet signal when it repeats too clearly.